Together with Earle Sports Bets, yeah, the twins, they be checking in. Stacking up green is the scene that you're stepping in. Winning is a trend and we stay making dollars. Nerd talk with the sports bet scholars. Yeah, it's R.I.P. to the bookies. R.I.P. to the bookies. R.I.P. to the bookies. R.I.P. to the bookies.
We are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. My name is Nicholas Earle. Just me today, as we have the round of 64, and we have and then we have 7 games, a round of 32, my bad, and we have 7 games in the NHL. Starting a little earlier today because I'm looking to be somewhere by noon, and I figured starting a half an hour earlier will allow me to do so. But we'll quickly recap yesterday, which was another very solid day, up 5.20 units for me. And it started off, we'll talk hockey first. Hockey was not very good yesterday. Hockey went let's see. I got that one. And okay, I went 2-4-1 in hockey yesterday. The Wild got the job done over the Buffalo Sabres to get it started. That was a nice little winner there. The Islanders fall in overtime, a game where they led with about 2.5 minutes left, held that lead for like 29 seconds, went to overtime and lost. Frustrating there. Tampa Bay, minus 115, lost, which snapped their 3-game winning streak. It happens. They ran into a desperate Utah team. One team I thought would have been desperate to keep pace, which actually they lost no ground at all because all 3 teams on the top of the Atlantic lost yesterday. The Florida Panthers are still tied for the division lead. They lose 6-3 to the Washington Capitals. Frustrating to see what I thought would have been a more desperate Florida team against a Capitals team that probably will be taking it a little bit easier going forward with them already clinching a playoff spot. But maybe they're going to continue to play super hard until they clinch the division, I guess. So that was kind of annoying there. Actually, I messed up my numbers because accidentally one of my plays was tracked for 1.5 units. Oops. So up 5.90 units yesterday. Toronto -1 was a loser. That was it. I don't know. I've been betting the Preds a lot, and then the one time I bet against the Preds, they go out and they win there. Vegas -1 laid the juice a little bit in that game, but -136, they win 6-3. Over Detroit, so a nice little winner there. Edmonton -1 pushes at the end of the night. Took a shot with them missing their top 2 players. No McDavid, no Draisaitl, and they got the 5-4 win. So did they win? Yes. Was it a push for me? Yeah, but I'd rather push than laying $1.60 on a money line. And that's probably where I differ on some people. So I know some people would rather lay the $1.50, $1.60, or whatever the price tag is. I'm just not one of those type of people. So, especially in hockey. That was a push to end the night there. College basketball was awesome yesterday. It started off Purdue with a nice, comfortable win over McNeese. So that was very nice. Covered the 6. Arkansas +7, +250. They went outright 75-66 over St. John's. I had St. John's falling in the second round. I just had them losing to the wrong team. I had them losing to Kansas instead of Arkansas. Arkansas will now take on Texas Tech in the next round, which we'll talk about them in a second. Michigan, a nice little winner there, +3, +135, and +215 to make the Sweet 16. So really, for my Sweet 16 props, it comes down to Colorado State today. I believe if Colorado State wins today, I will be profitable on my Sweet 16 props, only winning 2 of them. So I need Colorado State to pull through today in order to do that because I got 4-1 on the Rams there to make the Sweet 16. Then also I have Texas Tech -6.5. That was a nice little winner there. They take care of business, a 13-point win over Drake. Auburn, they were down at halftime and they covered the 8.5. That was nice there. Late. BYU, they were leading basically from start to finish. It got a little hairy at the end there as Wisconsin brought it to a 2-point game, but BYU holds on and wins that one there. Gonzaga, that was my first loser of the day. I had the +5, which pushed, and then a half unit on the +190. And then Tennessee to round out the night, -5. Nice little winner there. I went 9-1-1 in college basketball yesterday, which I believe I posted was up 8.43 units in college basketball yesterday. 8.43 units, and I'm now 30-25-1 betting every single game of March Madness. Up 7.70 units. Just an awesome day in college hoops. So hoping to continue that into today. I've moved on every game pre-show, and I've doubled up on one hockey game pre-show as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to talking about these games here today. We'll head over to the chat, and then we will get into the card. What up, Mr. Earle? Would love to know your opinion on Blazers-Celtics game if you think the Blazers are a live dog. I'll be completely honest. I didn't cap. I'll cap tomorrow's card for the NBA with March Madness and everything. I've been just focusing on college basketball and NHL. We will be getting back into the NBA swing of things tomorrow. We will be covering the association on tomorrow's card. Just we haven't been doing that with all of the college basketball games on. So unfortunately, I don't have an opinion on that game there. But we'll get it started. Round of 32, matchup number 1 here. The Connecticut Huskies taking on the Florida Gators. The Gators 9.5-point favorites in this spot with a total of 150.5. Now, for me, for the spreadsheet, it did us almost no good. I think the highest valued side on today's card is 1.36 points, and I bet against it. Really, there's no line value as we get deeper and deeper into the tournament here. We had our highest valued play yesterday come through with Purdue, but there was really nothing for just like spreadsheet plays. So this is capping way the line's moving, the cash flow and situations and stuff along those lines. We have this line opening up at a 9.5. It got all the way down to an 8 at one point, and there has been buyback on the Gators, bringing it back up to a 9.5. This line opened up at a 153. It's down to a 150.5. So we do have a move towards the under here as well. Taking a look at the cash flow in this game, where we have 63% of tickets, 66% of the cash is on Florida, yet this line really hasn't moved. And if anything, it moved towards UConn here. And then 63% of tickets, 62% of the cash is on the over here as well. And for this spot here, I mean, I have this game projected at around a 9.25. So really no value here on the side when it comes to just spreadsheet. That'll be a theme today though. For me, I'm going to take the points with the Huskies in this spot. And yes, I know I'm aware I think it was -125 for Florida to make for Florida to win the region. But I think this is a spot where potentially we can see an upset. And last night I got +9.5 with Connecticut and +400 on the money line. Am I expecting UConn to win this game outright? No, but this is one of those situations where I haven't been doing it all season, and I probably should have. But I've been doing it in the playoffs. If I like a dog, I'm sprinkling the money line, whether it's a half unit, quarter unit, tenth of a unit, like depending on how big the dog is. I'm going to take shots on underdogs and things along those lines. And I think I'm going to implement that back into the NBA as well. And there'll be smaller bets on money lines. But for me, if I see value on the spread, I see value on the money line. And I'll take the +9.5 here in this spot. And I got 4-1 as well with the Florida Gators. Or with the UConn Huskies, my bad. UConn Huskies. We'll move on to the second game here. The Duke Blue Devils taking on the Baylor Bears. We have the Blue Devils 12-point favorites in this game with a total of 144.5. I have this game projected at a 12. So this game, I once again, we have pretty much no value, and that's the theme for today. This line opened up at 11.5. It's now at 12. So we do have a move towards the Blue Devils. Line opened up 143.5. It's now 144, 144.5. So we do have a move towards the over here as well. We have 69% of tickets and 69% of cash is on Duke. The line's moving towards Duke. And we have 71% of tickets, 55% of cash is on the under here as well. This is in the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, so this will be a very pro-Duke crowd. They went out and they mollywopped Mount St. Mary's in the first game, 93-49, covering as 32-point favorites. Baylor barely held on against Mississippi State in their first game. They were 1-point dogs. They win 75-72. Now, you guys know how high I am on this Duke team. I have them winning the national championship, and I do think that they are going to have a relatively easy time through the first couple rounds here. I think their first big challenge will be Arizona, and then potentially Alabama, or it would be BYU or Alabama, or it could be St. Mary's, but I don't see St. Mary's making it past Bama today. But for me, I'm on Duke. I laid the 11.5 with them last night. I got it at minus 120. I think Duke is just a team I'm going to back throughout the entire tournament to win basically every single game they played. They were my championship pick that I made a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to ride with the Blue Devils here. They've been dominant, and I will look for them to continue to be dominant here. Duke minus 11.5 here for me in this matchup. We'll move on, continue on here through the card where we have the Illinois Fighting Illini taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. We have Illinois as 2-point favorites with a total of 170 in this game. Let's take a look at the line history in this spot here. This is in the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Line opened up at a pick'em. And it's now minus 2 for Illinois. So we do have a move towards the Illini in this game here. Line opened up 171. It's down to 170. We have 61% of tickets and 61% of cash is on Kentucky spread, 60 and 59 on the money line. And it's moving towards the Illini in this game here. So the market moving towards Illinois. They've gone from a pick to a minus 2. Also, let's take a look at this from just a basic perspective of how many people are going to see the number 3 seed is a dog against a number 6 seed and go ahead and want to bet them. I think there's a very similar situation to BYU and Wisconsin yesterday. And it's just flip. We have the Big Ten team as the 6 seed that's going to win outright in this game. Now, I do have Kentucky in my bracket, but the way I was looking at some of these games today, I think my bracket's going to take a hit today because there's a few spots that I had picked earlier and I'm against them today. Yeah, I can definitely see me losing a Final Four team today, losing what would it be? It wouldn't be an Elite 8 team. It'd just be a Sweet 16 team there, Sweet 16 team there, another Sweet 16 team there. So I can see my bracket taking a little bit of a hit today with some of these, the way that some of these lines are moving and things along those lines. So, yeah, I'm on Illinois, even though my bracket has Kentucky. Just the way that Illinois has played recently as well. They took care of business against Xavier. Now they had a week off previous to that. And just the way the Big Ten is showing in this tournament, UCLA lost last night, and so did Wisconsin. But previous to that, the Big Ten was 10-0 straight up in ATS in this tournament. So they've been showing really well. Now, granted, I'm going to be fading a Big Ten team a little bit here, a couple of them actually. But this is a Big Ten team I'm going to back here in this spot. I'm on Illinois. I got them at minus 130 last night. We'll continue on. We have the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on St. Mary's Gales. We have the Crimson Tide 6-point favorites in this game, total of 149.5. I did get involved in this game last night. The lines moved in my favor. This line opened up at a 5, and it did get up to a 6 before it actually has come back down to a 5.5 now. And then for the cash flow line opened up 148, now 149.5. Taking a look at the cash flow in this game, 72% tickets, 73% cash on Bama. It wasn't like that when I bet them last night, so that does make me a little bit concerned there. My number for this game is 6.5. So this is one of the better valued plays I saw on the card, backing the Tide in this game, and that's exactly where I'm on. I got -5 last night at minus 120. I'm seeing 5.5s and 6s in a lot of spots now. So obviously shop around, try to find the best available number. But I did get in on Alabama at -5. I just don't believe in this Mount St. Mary's team as much. And this is, I think, an Alabama team that can make it a few more rounds. And they were towards the top of the SEC during the regular season, playing a much tougher strength of schedule. And I do believe that it'll pay off here in this spot. I'm on the Tide here at -5, -120 for this one. We'll continue on though. A game that definitely will impact my futures, and I've actually obviously I bet this game. I've bet every single game. But let's take a look. The Maryland Terrapins taking on the Colorado State Rams. We have the Terrapins 7.5-point favorites, total of 143 in this one. Taking a look at the line history in this spot here, where we have this line opening up. If it'll click, there we go. At around a 7.5. It's still around a 7.5. The line really hasn't moved too much. And this line opened up 143. It's now 144. We have 60% of tickets and 65% of cash on the Terrapins. The lines have really not moved. And we have 66% of tickets, 67% of cash on the over here as well. So we do have a move toward, we don't really have too much. And actually starting to see some books throw some 8s out there. Looks like it's primarily 7.5 though, which is exactly what I got with the Rams last night. I got plus 7.5 with Colorado State and plus 290 on the money line here as well. This is just one of those where I believe Colorado State's a live dog, and Maryland, they're coming in off of a very dominating win, but they played Grand Canyon. They won 81-49 in that game. Colorado State with a upset win. It wasn't an upset. It was a 12 versus a 5, yeah. But when you looked at the actual line itself, the Rams were -125 in that game, or 1.5-point favorites against Memphis, the 5 seed. I felt like that was one of the more obvious plays on the first round card, was taking Colorado State over Memphis. So yeah, for me, I'm on Colorado State here, plus the 7.5 and plus the 290. I do believe they are a live dog in this game. So yeah, I'm on the Rams here in this spot. I'm on Duke and Bama. So am I. I'm on Duke and Bama as well. Those are two of the favorites I really like today. And we will be talking about favorites here in a little bit. Not this game though. The Mississippi Rebels taking on the Iowa State Cyclones. The Cyclones 5.5-point favorites with a total of 145.5 in this game. Here we return back to Milwaukee for this one here. This line opened up at a 5.5. It's now down to a 5. So we are seeing a line moving here towards Mississippi. Line opened up 146. It's now 145.5. Taking a look at the cash flow here in this one here, where we do have 57% of tickets and 66% of the cash is coming in on the Rebels, and the line is moving towards them. And I got a good line on them last night. Granted, it was a little bit of juice, but I did get a decent line here with the Rebels in this game. The Iowa State Cyclones are coming in off of an 82-55 win over Lipscomb in the first round. Mississippi is coming in off of a 71-64 win over North Carolina in the first round. A game that really, I think that 7-point deficit does not do it any justice. Mississippi dominated that game, and they were up 18 points at halftime. They let North Carolina back in it a little bit, but they still took care of business. But yeah, for me in this game, I'm going to take a shot with Ole Miss. +6. I got -120 on it, and +200 as well. I think at the very least they can cover this number, if not potentially win outright. I do think we see a little bit more chaos here in the second round, as we've already seen with Arkansas over St. John's. And I think that's really it though, because it's 1-4. Okay, the 6 seed BYU. I guess that's a little bit of chaos. Nothing crazy though. But yes, I'm on Ole Miss here, +6 and +the 200. I'll take a shot here with this dog that I could see covering here with the sharp money coming in on them, the line moving towards them. Everything kind of correlates here for me to take a shot here with the Rebels. We'll move on. 2 more games remain in the college basketball card before we get into the NHL card. As we have the New Mexico Lobos taking on the Michigan State Spartans in this one here. We have Sparty Party 7.5-point favorites, total of 148 in this game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one, where we have this line opening up at a 6.5. It's now a 7.5. So we do have a move towards Sparty in this one here. Line open up 146.5. It's now 148. So we'll move towards the over here as well. 58% tickets, 62% cash on Michigan State. Line moving towards them. 67% of the tickets, 67% of cash on the over here as well in this game. Now, I think Michigan State goes really far in the tournament here. I have them losing in the championship to Duke. That's how far I have Michigan State going. I think I have a ticket on 5-1 for them to win the region. I have a ticket on them. 33-1 to win the national championship as well. So I'm very, very high. I'm very, very high on this Michigan State team, and the line's moving towards them. Sharper money's coming in on them. Everything correlates here for me to go ahead and take Sparty again on the spot. I'm laying the 7.5 with Sparty, and I mean, kind of want to take a look at what this would be, what a Duke Bama Sparty 3-teamer would look like, just out of curiosity. Let's just go Bet365 for this. What would a Duke Bama Sparty be plus 105? Duke Bama Sparty plus 105. That's not a bad look. But yeah, I do think Sparty gets the job done here today. Go green, go white. Minus 7.5 for me in this one. How do you feel about Kentucky solo over? I would look towards the full game over if you like that. I do think Illinois puts up points in this game. I'm on the Illini in that game at minus 130. I like them to win that game. So I think if you like Kentucky over, like their team total over, I just take the full game over because I do think Illinois contributes as well. Final game on the card here for college basketball before we get into a little bit of NHL action here. We head to Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington for Arizona and Oregon. We have this line opening up at a 4.5 range. It got down to a 3.5, and it's back up to a 4. So really not crazy line movement here other than like bouncing back and forth. Line opened up 153. It's down to a 152.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this game here, where it's about split. 53% tickets, 56% of cash is on Arizona. The line's moving. The line really hasn't moved too much. Let's take a look at the matchup here in this game, where we have the Wildcats coming off of the win against Akron. They took care of business in that game pretty easily, 93-65 over the Zips. On the flip side, Oregon took care of Liberty pretty easily as well, 81-52 over the Flames there in that spot. I was on both these teams in the first round as well. And looking at my projections for this game, I had this game more like a 4.5. So I thought the original number of that 4.5 was correct, and I laid it with Arizona in this game. I do have Arizona losing in the next round to Duke, but I do have them winning in this game as well. I do like this Arizona squad a little bit, but do I think they get past? Do I think they get past? What do you call it? Duke? No. Do they get past today though? I think so. I'm on the Wildcats. I got 3.5 last night with them. But we will make the transition from the hardwood to the ice as we will be talking some NHL. We'll kick it on off here with this monstrous number. I wanted to fade the Buffalo Sabres in the spot, but not at this. Not at minus 310. Not at probably a pretty bad negative number for a puck line. That'd be minus 115 for a puck line. As much as I would love to do that, it's probably Winnipeg puck line or no bet. The Winnipeg Jets are coming in off of an overtime win over the Edmonton Oilers. That was back on the 20th. So they've had a few days off. And those all 3 games were on the road. And they returned back home to Winnipeg, and they've had time off. This will be the 3rd game in 4 nights, a second half of a back-to-back, and the last game of a road trip for the Buffalo Sabres. So this is perfect fade material if you're looking to bet Winnipeg. The question is, how much does Winnipeg care? They're 48-18-4. They, I believe, have clinched a spot in the playoffs. Could this be one of those spots where they're just slow out of the gate and Buffalo sneaks up and wins? I think if you like Buffalo, the simple answer is first period for Buffalo, because I do think that we'll see fatigue hit in late. And I would like to fade the Sabres in this spot. It's just a terrible spot here. The question is, do I want to lay $1.15 with a puck line? Yeah, I'm going to take a shot with that here. Give me Winnipeg puck line in the spot. This is a spot that I did want to fade Buffalo in. It's just not a good situational spot for them. Third game in 4 nights, last game of a road trip, second half of a back-to-back, which probably means James Reimer, unless they want to continue on their path to killing Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen by playing him every game. So minus 115 on the Jets puck line. It's a little much, but I do think this is a spot for Winnipeg to just go and take care of business in this game. So, yeah, I'm going to be on the puck line here for the Jets in this spot at minus 115. But we'll continue on. We have the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, minus 135 for the Flyers, total of 5.5 in this game here. Let's take a look at the matchup here in this spot. Philadelphia coming in on a weird spot here. They played yesterday against the Dallas Stars, and they played them close. And I think that's more of a testament of how poorly the Dallas Stars are playing right now, rather than how good the Flyers are playing right now, because I think these are two of the worst teams in hockey right now. Just looking as of late, these are two teams that are in last in their division. The Flyers, 28, 34, and 9, they're last place in the Met. And the Chicago Blackhawks are 20, 41, and 9. They're last place in the Central. So these are two teams that are going absolutely nowhere this year. Part of me wants to take a shot with Chicago, but they've lost 7 in a row. This is a perfect example of a good old one of these.
Stop it. Get some help.
This is a great 1-800-GAMBLER game. Not what I'm going to be getting involved with here. Simple pass in this spot for me. In this one, I might get involved with the next game we'll talk about, though, which will be the Nashville Predators taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Blues are minus 165 favorites with a total of 5.5 in this game. Taking a look at the matchup here in this spot, the Blues continue on. I believe it will be Bennington today. It was Hofer yesterday in net for the Blues. They are playing some really good hockey as of late, winners of 5 in a row. I just couldn't lay that big number with them yesterday against Chicago. On the flip side, we have Nashville coming in. They just snapped their 4-game losing streak in their last game there against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they're coming in feeling good. Just ended a 3-game homestand with a really solid win. And now they're going into St. Louis, who have been one of the hottest teams in hockey as of late. And the Blues will play another game at home after this before they hit the road to play Nashville again. These two teams just played as well, but Nashville is one of those teams where I don't think recent revenge is really going to play too much of an impact. The Blues took care of business in the last matchup against the Preds. They were grossly underpriced. They're minus 110. Different type of number now, as they are now minus 165. But granted, that was in Nashville where they were pick 'em, and now they're at home where they're minus 165. Now I'm seeing 175s for this game here. And for me, I'm going to play the -1 line here for the Blues. I want to just continue to back this team. I wish I did yesterday. I wish I just pulled the trigger on the puck line yesterday with them. But I'm going to continue to back this team as we continue to ride them, hopefully, into the playoffs here in this spot. So, yeah, -112 is what I'm getting here. 170 and 145 on the puck line. Blues -1 here for me. Blues -1, -112 as we continue to ride them to the playoffs. Turnsy's on the Blackhawks. What's good, Turnsy? I mean, the Blackhawks would be the only way to look at that game for me. That'd be the only way I would look. It's just whether or not you want to pull the trigger on Chicago right now, and I don't trust them to do that. So, but we'll move on. We have the Florida Panthers. They're -240 favorites with a total of 5.5 in this game. I feel like we're getting to the point of the season where favorites are probably more of the look than dogs, especially. I mean, you have Pittsburgh, who are coming in off of a win in their last game against Columbus. We were on Pittsburgh for just the second time this year against the Blue Jackets in their last game. On the flip side, we have the Florida Panthers. They're coming in off of a bad loss. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and we've noticed they've struggled without Aaron Ekblad. No duh. They lost their best defenseman, and now they've struggled. Losers of 3 of their last 4 games. The only game they won was a 1-0 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Whoop-de-doo. Do I want to lay this type of number on the Florida Panthers? Absolutely not. Maybe if you want to get involved with the Florida Panthers, it would be taking a shot maybe with, instead of laying a puck line with them. And it's -120 with a Jets Panthers 2-teamer. What is Jets Panthers Canes? +166 is Jets Panthers Canes. Jets Panthers Canes and Blues is plus 314. That's appealing there a little bit. But yeah, for me in this spot, it would be Florida or no bet, but I just can't lay this type of number at all with the Panthers right now, the way they're playing. But this is probably a game that the Panthers should win. Question is, do they win? So no action here for me. We'll move on. This is a game that I put into a couple of my group chats saying this is the best bet on the board today. Now, granted, it's a little bit juicy, but I doubled up on them in two different spots. And I had to hold myself back from tripling up on them, taking them first period, full game, and team total over. But I just went full game and team total here with this side in this spot. We have the Carolina Hurricanes coming in. They just had their 8-game winning streak snapped with a 7-2 loss yesterday against the LA Kings. Now, this is the second half of back-to-back for the Hurricanes. This is the third game in 4 nights for the Hurricanes. However, coming off of a 7-2 loss like that, I want to back you. I absolutely do. And on the flip side, we have the Anaheim Ducks. They're coming in off of a satisfying 4-1 win over the Nashville Predators in their last game. They finally had a few days off, but this is their first game back after a 3-game road trip. And for me in this spot, if Carolina would have won yesterday against the Kings, this would not be a play for me. It just plain and simply wouldn't. But with that being said, you lose 7-2. I expect you to show up in your next game, and this is a team they absolutely should be able to show up against. This Anaheim team is 30-31-8 this year. They've fallen out of the playoff race. Now they have a lot of fun young talent and things along those lines, but I feel like this is a game where you're getting a pissed off Canes team that's not going to overlook the Ducks. Here, pissed off that they had their 8-game winning streak snapped in this fashion. And I think this is a game where the Carolina Hurricanes just come in and beat the crap out of the Anaheim Ducks. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are the best bet on the board today. Now, are they expensive? Yes. I laid the -1 line with them at -133 in this game. I also took the team total over 3.5 and -110 because I expect them to be able to score in this game. And I think the one concern for me is how many goals they give up. Because this is a little bit of a potential fatigue spot for the Hurricanes, but I had to bet this. The Hurricanes for me after the 7-2 loss yesterday was a must bet for me. So I'm on the Hurricanes -1, -133, and team total over 3.5 at -110. I had to bet them after that performance yesterday. So doubling up on the Canes in the spot. The Truth in the House. What's up next? Nick, do you think UConn covers today? I wouldn't be surprised if they won outright. I had +9.5. I had 4-1 on the Connecticut Huskies tonight. So, yes, I do think they cover. But we'll move on. 2 games remaining on the card. A little bit of a quick card here for today. But, hey, it is what it is. Allows me to go and head out after this and be able to get somewhere by noon for today. But we have the Vegas Golden Knights and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fun matchup here. The Lightning are the Golden Knights anywhere between 115, 120 favorites. We're starting to see some 125s and 130s. Vegas coming in off of a 6-3 win against the Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Red Wings last night. And they've won back-to-back games now, both at home. This is the second half of back-to-back. It's the third game in 4 nights for Vegas. It's the same thing for the Tampa Bay Lightning, though, but all on the road for the Lightning. They were in Utah last night and they lose 6-4. And now this is I believe their last game of a road trip. They'll head home after this to play at least 3 games. And I think this is ready. Here's the spot. We're not betting this Tampa Bay game today. I'm telling you right now, mark it for 4 days from now. March 27th against the Utah Hockey Club. The Lightning are a play. Lightning -1 are a play for that game there. When they come back home, they play the Penguins and then they play Utah after Utah after they lost 6-4 to Utah last night. I expect them to bounce back in that game. Am I getting involved in this one though? No, I think this is a bad spot for Tampa Bay. I do. Third game in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. It's probably going to be Vasilevsky though because they used Johansson last night. But for me, I'm staying off this spot here in this one. I will look to back Tampa Bay when they're back at home. I just think this is a bad travel spot, a bad situational spot, a bad schedule spot, and I won't look to bet this game at all. So it's a pass here for me. I'm on Tampa Bay here. Yeah, I've been on Tampa Bay a lot lately. I just had my 3-game winning streak snap back in Tampa Bay last game, but I think this is a tough spot for Tampa Bay, but I won't talk you off of the Lightning now. What about the under 6? Wouldn't surprise me. And you can get 6.5s out there, -130 on DraftKings and ESPN Bet if you want the 6.5. I definitely think that is an option. If you like the under, I would look to maybe lay a couple extra cents for the hook there as well. All right, we'll head to the final game on the card where we have the Boston Bruins taking on the Los Angeles Kings. The Bruins the Kings are -240 in this game. The Bruins on a second half of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, so a bad spot for them. And they've traveled for every game here. They're on the road. They were in Vegas on the 20th. They traveled to San Jose, and then now they're in LA. So not crazy travel, but still travel in between games and a lot of games in short time. On the flip side, we have the LA Kings. They're coming in also on a second half of back-to-back, a third game in 4 nights. So a lot of these situations today where we're having teams playing a lot of hockey as of late. And for me in this game, another spot where, I would love to bet. I would love to fade Boston. I wish I did yesterday as the Sharks beat the Bruins 3-1 yesterday. And now the Bruins have lost 5 in a row. So the Bruins continue to be a team that are beautiful fade material. I lean towards laying the puck line here with the Kings, but I feel like I'm already on too many favorites to begin with. So for me, it'll just be a lean towards Kings puck line in this spot. Maybe you throw Kings money line in a parlay. Other than that, not what I'm going to get involved with here. So it looks like for me, Winnipeg puck line, Blues -1, Hurricanes -1, and team total over will be my 4 plays in the NHL today. So that's what I'm running with. Bruins puck line. Interesting. I would lean the other way, but I'm just not a Bruins believer right now. And I think they are good fade material at the time. But that's everything for today's card. If you guys have not already, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we are live here at ESB, which is every single morning, anywhere between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. That's going to just about wrap it up for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and good luck.